Join me for a minute. I want you to hear something.
Sports Talk it is.
Welcome! You're listening to the Sports Shock Show, and I'm the Sports Shock Wayne Candy.
The 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And I'm your host, Mr. Controversy.
Hello and welcome to DNA Sports. This is Don the D and DNA.
What's going on? This is Ace of the A and DNA.
Where we bring the facts about sports.
It's
Sports Roundtable. I am your humble host, H.O.
Download the Real 1100 app from your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
You are tuned into WWE Hakeville, AM 1100.
The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of Beasley Broadcast Group, this station, its staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous 3-Point Conversion Station. Keep it locked. Yes. We are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And I'm your host, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? Another weekend. Hope everybody is safe. Hope everybody is healthy. Of course, there's a lot going on in sports, like always. Man, it's first of all, it ain't cold, but it's cold for Atlanta. I don't know about anyone else, but we had a little sleet today coming down. But again, man, we're here live inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, and I'm not doing this by myself. I have my the person that does a lot behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, my guy G. What up, G?
Yo.
How are you doing today, bro?
I'm here. That's all I got. I'm here.
As Olivia Bill Cosby used to say, I'm still alive. And then shout out to my road dog, my partner in crime, The Intellectual. Man, he's we all have heavy hearts, man. He's dealing with a loss today, so keep him in your prayers. And the show is dedicated to Uncle Chuck. So the show is dedicated to you, Unc. And we're gonna make sure we do our best to make you proud. And then next week is Super Bowl, man. Like it's here. The funny thing is, G, we don't have the Pro Bowl to talk about, to make fun of, we
don't need it.
To take 2 minutes out of our lives, we don't have that anymore.
Well, what I've been seeing now is everyone's seeing the verses with music, but now they're doing verses with like players with their own highlights.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that's something. And then I think there are gonna be some players playing Madden with the Pro Bowl rosters. So,
but that's kind of dope.
Still trying to get something out of it.
That's kind of dope to have that talk about, to do a verses with your highlights. I'm wondering if they're doing like wide receiver on wide receiver, running back on running back. But either or, that's different. That's cool. We'll see. But anyway, what's up to everybody in the chat? What up, Kristen? What up, LA? What up, Cuz Linda? Hey man, if y'all listening, y'all could go to the Facebook, the 3-Point Conversion Facebook page, and join the chat as well. Also, we're streaming live on the 3pointconversion.com and YouTube, the 3-Point Conversion YouTube channel. And We're on iHeartRadio, Radio Now, and of course, if you're in Atlanta, if you're looking at those streams, you can go to the radio station or channel 1100 AM WWWE, The Real. All right, man, we have a great show lineup for you all, man. We are talking, we have to talk about this DeShaun Watson issue. Now, he's officially came out and said, I want to be traded. General manager like, no, we're going to see if we can make amends and not, I don't know. Some people say DeShaun holds the cards. We'll get into that. Also, we have special guest, Mr. Danny Thompson, the senior writer for the 3-Point Conversion, who also covers the Charlotte Hornets for the 3-Point Conversion. We'll be here to talk with the subject Birds and the Bees, talking Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets. Then we are talking Tom Brady. We saw what he did last week. Was incredible. Some people still hating on Tom because they don't like him. We'll get on that later on. But where do you compare him to Michael Jordan, man? Has he surpassed Michael Jordan? Is he neck and neck? We talking about the greatest sports figure, as far as what they've accomplished. We'll talk about that. That's going to be heated. Also, we have special guest, Mr. Nick Hamilton. Nick Hamilton is he's a journalist and he writes for Nightcast and also has a radio show on Sirius XM called TMA with Nick Hamilton, which is on Slam Radio on Sirius XM Radio. So that's going to be a treat. But he's going to talk about LA Clippers and the LA Lakers. He covers both teams, so you'll get your inside with that. And then we have to talk about these Washington Wizards. I don't know, G. I ain't going to get into it too much because we're going to talk about it. But right now they're, 3-50? Something like that?
3-55.
Yeah. And are we blaming Russ? Everybody wants to blame Russ. Is it the coaching? Or is it because they've probably suffered the most through this pandemic because everybody keep catching COVID. They hadn't played together probably maybe 3 games, if that, at a time, everybody healthy at once. So we'll talk about that. And then we have Ask a Doc with Dr. Fowler, Donnie Fowler III from Ortho Atlanta. Then we got Quick Hits, What's on Our Mind, Stop It. So, man, it's going to be a great show. Can't wait. I'm going to have some fun, tell the truth. Probably get some people mad, upset. But that's how we do. I'm Mr. Controversy. That's the whole point. But anyway, it is time to get to these quick hits. Let's get it. Shout out to Sharon Beats for the sick beats. Shout out to Vincent, the fantasy guru, and Michael. TJ Bentley, I should call him, but he goes by Michael, sometimes, depending on how you feeling. But anyway, so let's start off. The Colorado Rockies are trading 5-time All-Star third baseman Nolan Arenado. How you pronounce his name? Arenado. Why? See, there's one of them names where I know his name, but when I see it, I can't say it because the way it's spelled. But Arenado, man, to the St. Louis Cardinals, which is big. This is the big trade if it happens, but it's pending an approval by the Players Union. I wonder if they're going to do the Chris Paul joint. When Chris Paul went to LA Lakers, I hope not, but
that would be a huge problem if the Players Union
right.
blocks the trade.
Because Arenado is a beast.
But I think the reason why they're doing this is because there's so much money being involved. Like, these contracts are guaranteed. So that's why the Rockies are also sending, I don't know the exact players, but it's probably a lot of players to kind of make it look like, I think he's owed $199 million
right.
over the next 5 years or something like that.
Because they're saying the Rockies are getting multiple players in the deal and will send upward of $50 million to the Cardinals.
So they're sending him and $50 million. So what kind of players are they getting back? Like, how many are they getting
right.
back?
Yeah, this is
that
a big
is got to
trade.
equal, around at least $200 million, if not $300 million.
Right. Yeah, man. We'll see. Moving on. Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. has been named a senior advisor to MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred with an emphasis on baseball operations, youth development, and diversity. Griffey will also serve as an MLB ambassador at youth baseball initiatives and at special events such as the All-Star Game. Shout out to Ken Griffey, man, my favorite player. Do you think this helps? Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be bogus. Jay-Z, supposed to be this special advisor to the commissioner, you know, when it comes to diversity and everything. We don't know what he's done. NFL's tried to do a lot of things. We don't know if he's influencing. We don't know. And that's kind of the way Jay-Z is anyway. You know, he doesn't like attention like that. He's cool. He's always in the background when it comes to stuff like this. Do you think it works out with the MLB, with Ken Griffey?
It's going to be a tall task because basically, and I've read a couple of articles, it's basically on Ken Griffey Jr. to make, it seems like his job is to make baseball cool again for black kids.
Right. But how do you do that if there isn't black kids playing or black people playing baseball? That's the thing.
Trying to get black kids interested in playing again. How do you do that? I don't know.
Because I'm not going to lie, and I've said this plenty of times. When I was young, football always be my favorite sport. It was always my favorite sport. But I'm a sports head. I love all sports. Like, I haven't done it like that in a while, but I used to watch hockey religiously, you know, when I was little. But baseball was that sport that when you were a kid, you played. Everybody played. You always had a glove. I mean, I remember throwing the ball on the steps because there was certain players I could identify with that played in, you know, major leagues, man. And you know, man, I don't know if everybody else did it like this, but we didn't play baseball with the tennis balls, with a racket, the tennis racket. That was our bat. One time, you remember them juices, them little odd-shaped juices, whatever? We used to use that as the baseball and hit with a plastic bat.
Not having the right equipment is a part of this. Right. To where, like, that stuff is expensive. And then with the traveling teams, there's an AAU type of circuit with baseball. So it becomes expensive. So then it becomes about what kind of families can afford for their kid to be on a traveling baseball team. Right.
So, yeah, man. So that's why I say, you know, I wonder how it's going to change. I think this is huge, but I wonder how it's going to change. Moving on, NBA veterans Isaiah Thomas and Joe Johnson, and this is the Isaiah Thomas that played with the Boston Celtics now, but are on USA Basketball's roster for the final round of America qualifying next month. The Americans have already clinched an America berth, but still have 2 games left to play against Bahamas on February 19th and Mexico on February 20th. Those games will take place in San Juan, Puerto Rico. USA Basketball has won the America Cup title 7 times in the 9 previous attempts. Okay, G, who else is on this team?
I don't know.
Because the fact that they named them 2, which is cool and dope.
I mean, normally with these, it would be players, the American players for these kind of tournaments, guys who you may recognize from playing college basketball. They played a little bit in the NBA and probably played most of their career overseas. I think why this became a story is because IT is not on a team right now. And Joe Johnson is still
55 years old.
He
still
can
balling.
Still play.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was on a I think it might have been right before the hiatus, but he was signed to the Pistons after the Big 3 season, and then they cut him. I think that was last preseason, but they waived him before the season started. But he hasn't retired. He hasn't announced anything, so he still wants to play. And I think with USA Basketball, they're getting anybody they can get, because who knows that the team they have now might be the team they send to the Olympics.
Right. Yep. And, you know, they just opened up for the Olympics for the USA basketball team. Then they opened up a few more spots. And they added Trae Young and I forgot who was the other person they added. But so we'll see, man. We'll see how this goes with these veterans for the America Cup. Top amateur male boxer Keyshawn Davis will not compete at the Tokyo Games. Davis was removed from USA Boxing's team for Olympic qualifying after violating athlete selection procedures, which disqualify him from Olympic participation. USA Boxing did not detail the nature of the violation, and Davis is a 21-year-old lightweight. He's about to turn professional. I wonder what he did. Like, come on, man, let us know what he did.
I have a feeling like it's one of those, like we only hear it with college basketball and college football, where somebody got some money and they shouldn't have, or the money from the wrong people.
Right.
So that means that like voids his amateur status.
Or was he at the you know how they all meet up and they have a meeting, and did he take the commissioner or whoever's like last donut, the last piece of chicken or something, and dude was like, look, we gonna ban him. Like, say it.
And then he's a boxer, so they fought over that last donut too.
He's stupid. Say something. Like, look, we want to know. Don't leave us in the dry like that.
Because he almost turned professional when the Olympics were scheduled for last summer. He was thinking about turning professional. He's like, okay, no, I'm going to do it. And I think at the trials, he won the trials. So he was favored to win the gold medal.
Right. Yeah.
He was a favorite. But now he can't fight. Now he's like, I'm going to turn pro now.
So, which means he's probably going to have the best career of a boxer. Like, that always happens. Moving on, Atlanta Hawks guard Trae Young became the fastest player in NBA history to knock down 400 three-pointers in 159 games. Young previously set the record for fastest to 350 career three-pointers, which was held by Damian Lillard. All right, so that surpassed Steph. Did Steph start when he first came in?
Yeah.
He did, but NBA was different. Whatever. This is a great streak. Will he catch up with Steph, though? I don't think he catches up with, because Steph will have like 9.
He'll have to shoot at if he's consistent, he can possibly get there. But the last 6 or 7 years, Steph had like the green light to where he's making 300 to 400 in a season.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's really hard to do.
Yeah.
If you make 250, that's an elite shooter.
Right.
So if he's going 250, between 250 and 300 for the next 5-6 years,
yeah,
maybe.
Right. No, I'm with you. And then last but not least, our condolences go to the Chaney family. Hall of Fame coach, college basketball coach John Chaney has passed away at the age of 89. Chaney coached 34 years on the college level at Division II, Chaney State.
Chaney State.
Chaney. Why is it? Okay.
It's
spelled just
yeah.
spelled Chaney. I mean, you would.
It's pronounced Chaney.
Yeah, but it just looked like it would be.
Chaney.
It's not a college. It's something. It's spelled just like that, but they pronounce it Chaney. That's why. And then
an HBCU?
I know some women named. No, I know some women named. I don't know if it's not a college, but it's some type of organization. Then I know some women named Shanae. It's spelled like that.
They spelled it like that with the extra Y.
Yeah, man. But anyway, he won a national championship at Temple, and where he reached the Elite 8 5 times and won 8 Atlantic 10 titles. Now, if you're around my age, I remember
when he fought John Calipari.
Remember he fought John Calipari.
or wanted to fight him.
But basketball, that's John Chaney was college basketball. Like, if you watch college basketball, you know about John Chaney. You know, certain people that stood out, John Thompson, he was one of them. So shout out to him. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back to talk DeShaun Watson. Keep it locked.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports?
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
Entertainment?
Are you not entertained?
And other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
This is Charlie Batch, 15-year NFL veteran, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and you are listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Get ready. From the oven to your ears, it's now time for the Hot Topic.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And this next segment, the Hot Topic, is hot. Like somebody else is. DeShaun is hot. He's upset right now. Man, so first of all, congratulations to David Culley. You know, we were asking, why can't we get a black coach? And y'all, I apologize. They sent the NFLPA, they sent me the info, and you have to have a Microsoft account and all of this to play the video. I don't know if G had one. I ain't got a chance to talk to G, but I did ask DeMaurice Smith about, or DeMaurice Smith, however you pronounce his name, but I asked D, that's what we call him when we're doing the interviews, and I asked him about how did he feel about black coaches not getting hired and what will the NFLPA do about it. And he basically said that, you know, the NFL hired them to try to help the situation. I don't know how they can help, but we're going to get that answer. I'm going to get that video. We're going to play it for you. But either or, Houston, they chose David Culley, the Ravens assistant and wide receivers coach, which was a shocker. And some people get mad because Eric Bieniemy didn't get it, which I don't understand. They trying to hold. Well, I know what they're trying to do. I still don't understand. It doesn't make sense. I understand what they're trying to do, but it doesn't make sense. They're trying to use, when he was in kindergarten, when he stole that piece of candy, that, all right, he has a bad track record, which is not right. I mean, how can you use stuff 20 years ago that had nothing to do with
Yeah,
NFL?
and
It's
technically
messed up.
Houston couldn't hire, if they wanted to hire Bieniemy, they couldn't hire him because he's still working at his other job.
Right.
But some teams, I mean, you're going to see teams that are, I want to say impatient, but it's not exactly impatient, to where they're going to hire somebody who's available.
Right.
Because they want to get started as soon as possible, but I don't know exactly what certain coaches will be doing right now. Maybe, I mean, are they part of scouting as far as, you know, getting ready for the draft, or, you know, are they involved in the front office as far as contracts go? I mean, not when you just get the job.
Right. But it's still cool, though, that they chose David Culley. We don't know about him, and to me, that's what you want. You know, not just go after big names, but go after people that's, you know, that might be best for the job you don't know about. Give them an opportunity.
This part of why David Culley got this job is, I think, this over the past few weeks turned into a job that nobody really wanted. Once DeShaun Watson, once the news started coming out that he wanted out,
right?
I was like, if I were a coaching candidate and this came out, like, I don't want to coach this team if I don't know DeShaun's going to be there.
Except for Eric Bieniemy, because that's who he wanted. Except for him, but I guess came out that he wasn't going.
They interviewed Eric Bieniemy like 3 weeks after everybody else had interviewed him.
That's what I'm saying. So it's probably because they knew he knew that Eric wasn't coming. I don't think Eric, you know, or they didn't want Eric. But I just felt like, I hate to say it, and like I said, shout out to David, but I felt like it was like, all right, well, let's get a group of black coaches and let's just pick. Just draw them out of the hat and who comes.
And it's like they had to pick a black guy.
Yeah, they had to.
Because no one else did.
Right. So, but anyway, let's get back to DeShaun. So DeShaun is saying that I want to trade. Do you think they will work it out? Because the GM came out and was like, hey, no, we're going to try to talk to DeShaun. We don't want to trade him. We're going to see if we can work it out. I don't think it's going to work out. Now time can heal itself. That's just how it is. It's a long off season, but DeShaun is heated, and he should be. So I don't think that part, I don't think it'll work out as far as that DeShaun's gonna be like, all right, man, y'all cool. You know what? We talked about it. I understand. Let's play. Unless Cully comes to him and Cully talks to him, this is the plan I have for you. This is what we want to do. Do you think it's going to work out, G?
It's going to be difficult because there's a lack of. This has all happened because of a lack of trust between the franchise and their franchise player.
Right.
You know, if you said he was going to be, at least kept in the loop about the new GM, and then you don't keep him in the loop, and then you hire a search firm, and the suggestions they come with aren't the guy that you actually wanted to hire all along, and you throw out their suggestions, they were both minorities, and you hire this guy from the Patriots, continuing the incestuous relationship between the Texans and the Patriots, then it's like, I thought I was going to be a part of this, and then you don't include me.
Right.
So what am I? I'm not just some asset. I'm not just, I'm your quarterback, but I'm part of this organization, aren't I? And if he doesn't feel that, he wants to go somewhere else.
And then they were kind of bogus. I mean, not bogus, but I'm wondering what their intentions were because they signed him. Hey, let's get him now. Let's make him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the game. And he's happy. All right, now we might trade Fuller, trade some other people, and then we're not gonna hire Bieniemy. And it's like we got you locked.
What we traded Hopkins.
Yeah, well, that was after they traded him before he got paid though. But right, I'm just saying. But after they traded Hopkins, then it was like, all right, let's go ahead and sign him.
Trading for Laramie Tunsil for 2 first-round picks, which is clearly they overpaid. And so now that number 3 overall pick is in Miami. They don't have that anymore.
Right.
So what? J.J. Watt's getting older. Jadeveon Clowney didn't work out. He's gone. What kind of team is this going to be in his prime? It's hard to see that they're going to make some great improvement over the next 3 or 4 years of his prime.
And think about it. J.J. Watt came out and was talking about how it was some players that wasn't playing hard towards the end of the season, and that whole franchise is going down. But here's the key. A lot of people have said, okay, DeShaun holds the keys. DeShaun, he has the power. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have power because he's locked in.
Well, yeah, I mean, he can
not play.
He can not play. That's his leverage. He has a no trade clause, and he cannot play. If he can handle not playing, then he'll be fine.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people won't look at it that way, be like, oh, he's losing too much money. It's not about the money exactly. It's the principle.
Right.
So
right.
If he's willing to go out here on principle, then that's where his leverage comes from. But the Texans do have like the more tangible leverage because they don't have to trade him. But if they don't have to pay him, what are they going to do as far as their quarterback situation? I don't know. Who's their backup?
I don't know.
They got Brian Hoyer or something. Can they get Ryan Fitzpatrick? He'll be one of those guys playing quarterback.
It is probably in their best interest to trade if DeShaun comes back and say, I'm not.
Because they can get a haul for him. I mean, everyone has. I've seen 20 different trade scenarios in which I think the Texans get something significant, and the team he would go to would get not just him, but maybe another player, maybe a later round draft
Right,
pick that
yeah.
can turn into something. So there is a situation where everybody can win, but the Texans are probably want to flex, and they're like, no, we're going to keep him. We're not going to trade him at all, and we're going to make him sit out.
So like you said, it's been a lot of trades. I want to get into that, which trades, because, I mean, like you said, there's been so many scenarios. Like, I even saw my name in one of the trade packages. Like, it was – it's been a lot. But what is the best team? And y'all listening in the chat, y'all can put in what team do y'all feel like will work. And the thing is, as Brandon Tremaine Love says in the chat room, he can manipulate this because he has a trade clause. So now when it comes to that, he holds the cards, because if they say, all right, we're going to trade you, DeShaun, okay, DeShaun can go anywhere he wants then because he holds that trade clause, which it'd be funny. Like, I want to get traded, but I'm like, nope, I'm not. I'm not accepting that trade. I don't want to get traded. Like, that's going to be funny. But where do you see, G? Like, to me, the teams that jump off is, I don't know the cap situation, but I'm thinking Miami, because you got a young Tua. That can work out. You can send Tua. You can send some draft picks. I don't think Miami wants to send their receivers. You know, I don't see that. But they have some players, but I can see that where at least you're getting a quarterback back that has the potential, you know what I'm saying, to be good. Some people talk about New York Jets. Stop it. No, he might as well stay in Houston. I just don't trust that organization at all. You hire a coach that just got fired and didn't do anything in Miami in your division, and you hire him. I mean, I told you, my grandma, who did he had to sleep with to get that job? That's what came up. Who else? Some people say Chicago Bears. I don't know what the Bears can give up for him. Unless they talking about Khalil Mack.
No.
I don't think they would do that.
It'll be something for – it depends on what kind of draft picks. I mean, like a lot of these situations, a lot of these scenarios, it would be – depends on what kind of draft picks that the team has.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you only have draft picks, it might take – it'll have to be like somebody in the top 5, and then your first rounder next year, a second rounder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might take 4 to 6 draft picks just to get him.
Right. So let me go through the chat. So Shin Blanca is saying the Jags get him with their picks. Do they want the black quarterback that's proven? I mean, I don't think that has nothing to do with it, because
Jacksonville is going to take Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, they got to
make this work with Urban Meyer. They have to start over. They're going to start with a young quarterback.
Let me ask you though, would you take this if you were Jacksonville? Would you take that?
No.
You would take Lawrence?
If I have the number 1 pick, I'm not trading the number 1 pick.
But see, then with Houston,
if my number 1 pick is going to be a quarterback, but I can draft a quarterback instead. This is more of a financial thing.
Right. You don't want to do that. Right. What else? But they said Jacksonville has, Washington has $43.5 million in cap space.
But if it's a trade, do they have the draft picks to make a trade? Because as far as paying him, okay, you'll be able to pay him, but do you have the draft picks?
Will it be worth it? Because
for the trade,
the thing with the trade is how many people you're going to trade. I mean, how many draft picks you're going to trade?
We're talking about, I think, 4 to 6 draft picks.
Yeah,
and one of them has to be, if you're in the top.
2 of them, yeah.
If 2 first rounders, the one you have this year, if you're in the top 10,
right,
your first rounder next year, your second rounder this year, it's going to take a lot. But if you're not in the top 10, I feel like you don't have that great of a chance of making a trade for him.
Right. And then, of course, they 49ers coming up. They have a lot of assets. I don't know, man. I just, of course, I want them in Chicago, but I don't know. It's a lot of teams that can do a lot, but it's gonna be tough, man. Again, Houston, in their best interest, they should trade him because you can get a lot back. You don't want a disgruntled quarterback. But you got to make the right one. It's got to be somewhere he likes. So the teams I like, of course, Chicago, of course, bias reasons. But Miami, I like Miami. And shout out to my guy Nick who's coming on. He said it was rumored the Rams. Now, I don't know if they can afford him because of, the cap space, but that would be nice if he went to the Rams. That would be nice. But all right, man, we'll see, man. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more sports talk. Don't go anywhere, y'all.
Kids follow your lead. Help them stay healthy. Wash your hands. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. And cover coughs and sneezes. Clean and disinfect the objects you touch often, like your phone, the remote, and doorknobs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And if you're the one who's sick, stay home. This station is part of the Beasley Best Community of Caring, and we care about your family. For more info, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.
Three-point conversion, Kevin Huerter with the Atlanta Hawks.
All right, we are back inside the three-point conversion sports lounge. And we have in our senior writer for the three-point conversion and who also covers the Charlotte Hornets. My God, the popular one, Mr. Danny Thompson. What's going on, Danny?
Good morning, fellas. Good morning, fellas. But I'm not the popular one. I'm trying to catch up to you, Raphael. Come on now.
No, that's you. That's you, sir. And if some people out there are like, okay, I thought it was Mr. Controversy. Danny loves to call me by my government name. I don't know, government name. He does just what he does, but it's cool.
But it gets the people talking.
But
like yesterday.
But all right, man. So, and I'm gonna just let y'all know right now, Danny did this. He's on the road, so if y'all hear the background noise, he had to make an emergency trip, but he said he would do this. He stuck by his word. So, but I want to ask you, Danny. First off, with the Hawks, we see Christian Woods, we see Gordon Hayward. Them two have been great as far as new additions, and we know Clint was picked up last season, but as far as this is his first year with the Hawks, where do you rank him with just new additions for this year?
I mean, he's probably, if you have to say Christian Wood and Gordon Hayward's 1A and 1B, Capella's probably 1C. If you look at the importance of what Clint Capella's done for Atlanta, it's exponential. Capella has made Atlanta, we talked about this in the beginning of the season, Atlanta's a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference probably with Capella in the lineup as healthy. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's games where he changes the games defensively. He had a triple-double with blocks one night. There's games where he doesn't block shots but allows John Collins to get 3 and 4 and 5 blocks in the game. With him in the post on defense, Trae Young could be Trae Young and go out and play passing lanes. He makes everybody better defensively, and he's grabbing everything off the rebounds. Look at the rebounding number. I think it's almost 15 a game right now. So Capella's impact is just as much as Christian Wood or even Gordon Hayward in Charlotte so far.
Yeah, and I think that with Clint, it's just the fact that his presence is there, and blocking shots. You mentioned rebounds and all of that, but his presence and it seems like, and well, he's told us, talked to media and said that he knows how to win. He knows what it's like to win. So he's been in there coaching. The situation that happened with Trey and John Collins, he was in John Collins' ear to, hey, man, calm down. Then he went to Trey. Hey, I've seen this happen in Houston with James Harden and so on. We need to let's just take our time. And, and now you see them playing better, and now they're back on course. Now, we knew they were going to come back on course, but they're back on course. So, no, I definitely agree. Now, speaking of on course, they played Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday, I believe. They split the first two games. Durant, Harden, Kyrie all played. And the game came down to the end. Hawks battled, but they lost. But they did tell us that they felt like this was a measuring stick. And they were proud. They want to win, but they felt like, all right, we could compete with one of the contenders. Do you feel like now, after that game, and if they get healthy, they can go on the streak? Like, how good can they be when all healthy?
There's good enough to say if they ended up with Brooklyn in the first round series, they would give Brooklyn a lot of problems in a series. The way both teams are currently constructed, Atlanta would give so many teams problems in the Eastern Conference. And so I think as a measuring stick, I think it's a great measuring stick, but I think it's just scratching the surface of the potential of what Atlanta can do.
So do you think, all right, so with them doing that, do you feel like, so I know you say you think they can make the playoffs, but when we'll say measuring stick, that's what they use. When you looking at it as a measuring stick, where do they rank amongst, if they're playing to their potential, not if they're playing to their potential, but if everyone's healthy, I ask that, where do you see them?
They're as good as a 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. Like they're good enough to avoid the play-in game at all. They're good enough to be one of the 6 best teams in the East. We're completely healthy, and with everybody playing to their potential, they're easy a top 6 team in the East. Easy.
Okay. And then let's transition to the Hornets. Man, last night they had a big win over the Pacers, only used the 8-man rotation, including Malik Monk. With this rotation, with the starting 5, then you got LaMelo, Miles, and Malik. Can this rotation work for the future? Is this the rotation that can kind of get them going?
If Borrego used the substitution patterns like he did last night, he made a couple changes last night. And with the changes in rotation, if you watch the Hornets throughout the season, around the 6-minute mark, he normally brings in his 3 reserves. It was Biyombo at the time. And last night, he only went Melo and Miles to come in off the bench. And then he started rotating PJ with Cody, with Terry and Devontae, and brought in Monk to spell Gordon Hayward. And what does that mean is Borrego might have found a rotation that might have worked. Now, we're really going to see how this works tonight because they have Milwaukee tonight. You have a bigger team in Miami on Monday, and you have Philadelphia on Wednesday. So we're going to see how this works because Coach Borrego is tinkering with this system because Charlotte's undersized. And there are going to be games where they're going to get destroyed on the boards, but they want to generate offense. But it's more exciting, and they played really well last night with it.
And they played well, sparked by that bench, and LaMelo played 30 minutes, right? Usually when he plays around that 30-minute mark, they usually win. Like their record is crazy. Like they win. They probably won over what is their record? They probably like 5-1 or something like that. 6-1. Okay.
I think like 4 or 5-1.
5-1. When does he start? When or do you keep him at the bench? But you said earlier that a few weeks ago that you thought it would be around this time. When does he start? When does LaMelo crack the starting lineup?
I said this. I said this in the post-game show of the Hornets. If this stretch of games where I was saying the 2 games in Indiana, and then you have Milwaukee, and then you have Miami and Philadelphia coming up, Charlotte plays 12 of the next 14 at home. If it goes to the point where they lose 4 out of 5, and that losing streak continues to go, there's going to be a line change eventually. what we saw LaMelo Ball last night, arguably, I'm saying even this with the triple-double performance, this might have been LaMelo's best game as a pro. Even with the turnovers and the bad shot at the three-point line in the fourth quarter, what LaMelo did last night was he showed Raphael that when you make a mistake, you do something on the other end or do something else to be able to make up for that mistake. Hornets fans have been saying, why is LaMelo not playing? Why is LaMelo not playing? Why is Brady not trusting him? When you look at Trae Young and his development, or Luka Doncic, or even go to other players previous to this, if Trae Young made a mistake, he made a lot of them as a rookie. Trae is going to come down court and hit a 30-foot three-pointer. He has that ability to. Luka Doncic, same thing, that step-back three-pointer. What LaMelo has not developed yet is that one thing that when he makes a mistake on passing the ball or to make a turnover, something he can do to help the team out, whether it be defensively, whether it be knocking down a shot. What we saw last night was he was aggressive going to the rim last night. He had 3 dunks last night, including one on Sabonis, which was on SportsCenter, with the tip-back dunk. He started doing different things. We saw him dive on the floor last night. We saw him stay in the zone defense. As long as you're doing those things, and Coach Borrego said this last night, he'll live with the turnovers. But if you do other things to make up for the turnovers, you're going to see playing time. And what happened last night? Melo committed 5 turnovers, but Borrego stuck with Melo throughout the second half and into the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. You start doing other things, if you make turnovers, you're going to see more minutes. And as far as the starting goes, it's going to be mid-February. I think at the latest, unless this team hits a losing streak, if the team keeps winning, you don't want to change it. But I think the next losing streak, Melo's in the starting lineup. Easy.
Well, there you have it, Mr. Danny Thompson. You can follow Danny Thompson at Danny3Thompson on Twitter, right? Yep, on Twitter. That's where he's popular. Very popular. So, but anyway, hey, man, have safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, Mr. Controversy.
No problem. All right, we're going to take a quick break. He tried to be funny with that. And we're going to talk some greatness right here, including Michael Jordan and another player.
Hi, I'm Vivica Fox. For more than 100 years, American Humane has been rescuing animals during hurricanes, floods, and wildfires. But Mother Nature isn't the only danger animals face. Sometimes it's human nature. Every year, 6 million animals are abandoned and more than 1 million are euthanized. You can be a hero to animals in need of rescue and adoption at AmericanHumane.org.
This is the Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk, and you're listening to 3 Point Conversion.
All right, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. All right, so last week, man, Tom Brady, that dude is awesome. Like, that dude, I know you got a lot of people that don't like him, which is understandable. I get it. It's the thing with LeBron. It's the thing how it was with Jordan. Sometimes, especially with New England, though, because they really believed in if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win. You know? So, but I get it. But yet still, this guy here, I mean, for him to go on the road, bruh, that was crazy. But either or, so here's my question, G. And I want everybody in the chat, you know, whether you on a 3pointconversion.com, YouTube, hey, here on Facebook, wherever. If it had to come down to you had to bet your life or you betting money or whatever, and you're talking either Tom Brady in a championship game or Michael Jordan in a Game 7 in Eastern Conference Championship. Eastern Conference Finals. G, who would you take? Who would you bet on to win this game? And I know everybody went like, that's semantics. You got to think about his defense. Because Michael Jordan plays with other 4 players too, and 6 players, and they have to score. Jordan can't score 103 points. Tom Brady can't. Defense got to play too, but still, if you just betting on this person in this game, which person would you bet on?
I'm taking Jordan only because he can affect the game in more ways than Brady can affect his game. And it's this part of the semantics that you're talking about. Like Brady can't, and I heard some show that was talking about this the other day. Brady can't go out and he can't play safety if the team needs him. It's not like in Remember the Titans where they had to put, put that running back at corner or whatever. But Jordan has more of an impact on the game overall. But with Tom Brady, this isn't a discredit to Brady, but we can almost expect Brady to show up and do his part as much as he can.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question because I knew that was going to come. So let's say if it's 2 minutes left in the game, Bulls, they down by 3. 2 minutes left in the game, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7. Tom Brady, 2 minutes left in the game, and they're driving at their own 17-yard line. They got to drive to score the go-ahead touchdown and win it. Who are you betting on?
You got to give Jordan less time. That's a long time in a basketball game. 2 minutes is a very long time.
Or down by 5, but still.
You got to say, like, I'm down 3 with 30 seconds left.
No, but the reason
but I understand where you're coming from, though.
Because he got to play defense also, and,
in that situation, if you need a 3, if you need a 3, I know Jordan will take that shot, but I don't know if he'll make that shot. I'm not confident that he's going to make it, like a 3-pointer at least. But if it's Brady going down the field to either kick a field goal to go to overtime, or if they need a touchdown, we've seen that many times with Brady. So I would lean more towards that. But if it's just, down by 1 and you need a bucket with 5 seconds left.
But it's easy though.
You can go. There's no wrong answer.
Right. It's not. And that's the thing.
There's no wrong answer.
Right. And that's the thing. So basically, I'm trying to see what and Jordan doesn't do Game 7s. Now he's done Game 7s in Eastern Conference Finals. I can name 2 right off the bat. The Knicks,
done 2. The
Indiana,
Knicks and the Pacers.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Game 6, but he's done Game 7s in the Eastern Conference Finals, not Finals. No, I didn't say Finals. That's why I said championship and all that. But
he went Game 7 with the Pistons too.
Yep, Game 7 twice. Right. So we can, yeah. So, but my whole point is, Brady right now, Jordan has always been that guy where he was the greatest. Jordan, no questions. But this dude Brady been to 14. I couldn't believe that when he said that. I felt like they added 6 more. Like, when? 14 championship games.
Well, he's never this was the first time he had ever had to play on Wild Card Weekend. When they made the playoffs, they're the 1 or the 2 seed, or that they had to play Wild Card Weekend on the road.
Right.
He never had to do this, and this was probably one of the harder. They had one of the harder pass, I guess you would say, mentally. If you want to make the Super Bowl, you got to win 3 road games.
And they were wild card, right? They were the wild card. All that talk, and see, a lot of people have said, all right, Tom Brady, like I said, they cheat. Darn right. They've got caught too, but they still, and remember last time they cheated and they got caught, Belichick was like, all right, we gonna show y'all who needs to cheat, and that's when they were scoring 50 a game.
When they won when they beat the Falcons that year, he was suspended. Brady was suspended the first 4 games because of Deflategate.
Right.
So,
they still was cheating though. I think they cheated, But they found a way to cheat. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Hey, look, the Falcons still haven't found it. They still haven't found out how they cheated.
Right.
Still haven't found out. 4 years later, we still don't know. But it's they just bear down and they needed a slight motivation to prove a point. I mean, that's why I would say that Brady and Jordan have the same kind of mentality, to where if you slight them in the smallest way, if you're playing against Jordan in the finals and y'all at the same restaurant and you don't say hello and you just walk past them, Jordan will see that as a slight.
Right.
And with Brady, if you make some kind of joke about his age and y'all don't know each other like that, it's gonna be a slight towards him. He's gonna come out and throw for 450 yards on you. So
yeah,
they have the same mindset as far as, look, don't give them any extra motivation, because they're gonna come out to try to prove a point.
And then, like we stated, the fact that first year, I still don't think that's registering in people's minds. You go from a team that's won, then you go to a team that hadn't won. Now they added Gronk, and Gronk had 6-7 touchdowns. They added Antonio Brown. He came through at the end. And Fournette, which Ronald Jones is like, nah, bro, this is my team. But, I mean, Fournette, I guess, was valuable.
He showed up a little bit.
He showed up.
He had some value, but not what
right.
it was.
But still, Brady goes at – go ahead.
What that has to stop, though, because of what has been accomplished, a lot of people like to say, and it just means that you didn't really watch, that Brady's a system quarterback. In New England, he played in like 3 different offenses.
About 5. It seemed like, the first 3 Super Bowls, each year it was a different offense they had, different offensive scheme.
That like it was a run heavy offense.
Right.
And he would, throw short passes, or they would take their shots. And then when they got Moss and Welker, we're trying to throw it down the field, or we're trying to create mismatches with Welker in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And then
when they left,
it became the quick passes, the quick short passes, and then take our shots, because Brady doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's always been smart with the ball.
Right.
So if we get it out quick, 15 yards, then maybe we'll take our shot if it's at the right time. The screen passes were the long handoffs. That's why people think Edelman should be a Hall of Famer, because he caught a lot of passes. It was a lot of 5-6 yard passes, but it was a vital part of their offense to keep the defense spread out and all that. So he's played in different offenses. You just not looking.
No, and people say, and that's the thing. Like I said, they go on the road. They on the road. They had a home game, the first game, right?
The Bucks?
Well, who they play in the first game?
Washington. The playoff game?
Right. So, they won 3 road games.
They won 3 road games.
And it got harder each game. You go to Lambeau Field, you win, and with a team his first year, this team didn't make the playoffs. Same coaches. I don't know, bro. So
I think and when you talked to Bruce Arians a couple of years ago, he said this. It was in reference to Jameis, but he still had the same kind of thought process with Brady. You do what your players can do. Brady can't throw the ball down the field like that, like you want him to, as far as in a Bruce Arians offense.
Right.
Well, he likes to throw the ball down the field. Brady can't do it like that all the time. So he made the adjustment. Okay, we're going to go with these shorter passes. We're going to have a more balanced offense. And that's what Brady excels in.
But you know what? They led the league in the most down the field passes. Brady was chucking it.
Well,
but
yeah,
you're
I
right.
mean, they were able to do that, but still, it wasn't like we're doing that all the time.
That wasn't the right. No, you're right. And I'm glad you said that, because when I talked to hopefully I get a chance to interview Bruce Arians this week for the Super Bowl. Stay tuned to 3-Point Conversion, y'all. This week we're gonna have coverage of the Super Bowl. We're gonna have interviews and all that all week long. But so to close this, should this shut up all the people who said that he won because he played against no competition and he had the best defense and so on? Should this shut them up, G?
For it doesn't matter whether they win this game or not. If you're picking them, that's perfectly fine. But it shows that he can elevate his team, and it's not just about a system. It's not just about a coach. This is what you're supposed to give a quarterback credit for if they get to this point, because you don't. When have you seen this? I mean, I think there are only two other quarterbacks that have started a Super Bowl with two different teams.
Right.
I know one of them is Craig Morton. I can't remember who the other one is right off the top of my head.
They won a Super Bowl with two.
That at least started.
Oh, I know that. It was recently, too. I don't know.
Help us out in the chat. Yeah, I think it's like only two other players.
Oh,
I know one is
Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Peyton Manning. Right. So
it's he's done a very rare thing, and you got to give him credit for that.
And then with Peyton Manning, it took him a few years to get back with Denver. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't get back that first year. Yeah, it's hard to get to the Super Bowl, but Brady makes it look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing. I don't know. Like I said, we can clearly say, I say this all the time, G. He's the greatest. I would say, I used to say it was Jerry Rice was the greatest football player, NFL football player, or football player ever. It was Jerry Rice. I think Brady just passed Jerry Rice with what he did. You looking at me like, I think, because we've never seen a player dominate like that. Jerry Rice was a beast, and Jerry Rice played all them years in San Fran. And what makes Jerry Rice great, because he had Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but he made them Hall of Famers. You know, Steve Young, Joe Montana, and you had he played with Jeff Garcia. Then he went Rich Gannon, and Rich Gannon was the MVP. So that's why he was the greatest in the 22 touchdowns in 5 games. No, what was it? 12 games, I think. But what Brady has 14 championship games, dog. And then he goes to a team that didn't make the playoff the last few years, and they the first team ever to win, to be playing at home at the Super Bowl. You still think Rice is the greatest football player ever?
I think that I don't know. It's a lot to consider right now.
And we might be talking in a moment, but I'm not. I've been saying this since last year. I was like, I think Brady is the greatest.
Oh yeah, Kurt Warner. That's another one who started the Super Bowl with.
And Kurt Warner, right. Yeah. So appreciate that, Derek. All right, man. We're gonna take a quick break. A great discussion, and we will be back with the Stop It segment. Don't go anywhere, y'all. Y'all gonna love this.
Hello. I'm Renee Montgomery of the Atlanta Dream, and you're dreaming with a 3-point conversion. Let's get it.
You are tuned into WWE Hakeville, AM 1100.
The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of Beasley Broadcast Group, this station, its staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
Big ups to our Sports Lounge crew for keeping the airways blazing each and every Saturday. But I want to send another special shout out to our team of writers at the 3-Point Conversion. You can visit us at the3pointconversion.com. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. How about the Gram? How about iHeart? How about Spreaker Radio? How about wherever you need it, baby? We got you covered. No mercy. Don't let up on him. Go hard on him, Mr. Controversy. Hit him with the stop it button.
All right, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. I want to thank everyone who is listening live, and we appreciate you. And everyone else who's watching live, we definitely appreciate you for your support and for supporting the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. We also ask you to continue to support us, but not just the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, the 3-Point Conversion Sports Media Company. We definitely appreciate it. Also want to give a special shout out to what I would call a real OG, man. OG, this guy, this is the OG. That's all I can say, man. This guy's getting a haircut right now. Served in many tours in the capacity as a sergeant major in the Marine Forces. What up, Will? What up, baby? I used to say you can't see me, but you can see me. But I can see you also. What up, Will? Hey, man, appreciate you, man. And, Will done such a big part of the community, man, keeping everybody in shape, keeping his barber in shape. I might have to holler at you, too, because he was telling me what all you did, man, so what all you do. So, but shout out to Will. Appreciate you, bro. All right, now it is time for the most infamous, the most famous Stop It segment. Let's get it.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yes. S-T-O-P, new word, I-T. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, so I'm going to start it off. So the stop it, my stop it goes to Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson, Mr. Thompson, Kardashian himself, said that he hopes that the Cleveland Cavaliers retires his number.
Stop it.
I'm going to say that one more time. He hopes that the Cleveland Cavaliers retires his number.
Stop it.
For what? What were we tired of? Oh, because you were on the championship team? Right.
Dude, he won, when they retired LeBron's number, he won like a number 13 at the corner of his jersey or whatever, at the corner of LeBron's jersey at the top. Like,
well, I think on the banner, maybe not every time, but on championship teams, when they raise the banner, the players' names are on the banner.
So maybe he want that.
So that your name's already up there. Yeah. That's as close as you're going to get.
Right, because, but I don't even think, he might have averaged 11 rebounds. I don't know. I had to look that up. But what, 8.9 points per game?
Look, he's one of the most underachieving lottery picks of all time. Like, there are busts, but he underachieved.
Right.
Y'all remember, he was the number 4 pick.
Right.
In that draft.
Right.
Ahead of Kawhi, ahead of Klay Thompson, ahead of Kemba Walker. But I know Cleveland wouldn't have drafted Kyrie and Kemba Walker. But underachieved.
Right. All right.
Just because you played there a long time, that don't mean nothing.
Right.
All right. Y'all can see this on Facebook Live. My stop it goes to Major League Wrestling. Now, if you see the video here, you might think that the referee, the guy in the striped shirt, looks kind of familiar. That is former disgraced NBA referee Tim Donaghy. If y'all remember Tim Donaghy, the referee who was basically gambling on games. There's a movie that's been made about his shenanigans. He is now involved in Major League Wrestling as a referee, and he is he helping the other dude cheat, as you can see.
Hey, but that's a dope concept to have on there. Hey, shout out to Tim, man. We had Tim on the show a couple of times, man, back in the day when we was a podcast. Yeah, he used to come on. talk about what he got to stop. I gave him a stop it too, like after he was on, but you come on, you talk to us. You know, you was banned because of cheating, and then he had a gambling website. He had a gambling company and a gambling website. Like, bruh, really? Like, come on, go ahead, get him stop it, G.
Stop it.
Yeah, Tim, you bugging. You bugging. All right, man. We're gonna take a quick break, and we will be back to talk some NBA basketball. Keep it locked, y'all.
Let me break down to y'all what's so dope about the three-point conversion. First of all, everybody is a fan of the game first. Second of all, everybody is a student of the game second. And third of all, we're the average sports fan just like everybody else. We're not coming in here, walking with our nose tipped high, acting snooty, acting brand new. This is a grassroots organization. Bar none. The three-point conversion, where fans' opinions matter. Be sure to visit the website www.the3pointconversion.com. Get your fix, get your articles, multimedia, and everything else that you, as a sports fan, need. So again, the3pointconversion.com. It's where it's at, man, where fans' opinions matter.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports,
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
entertainment,
Are you not entertained?
and other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
This is Mari Stoudemire, and you listen to 3-Point Conversion Radio.
All right, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. All right, so I hope this guy still in there. Get ready for the stop it. I want to shout out my guy Donald Jackson. What up, Donald? He said, "Go Pack, go." He come on our show and said, "Go Pack, go."
Stop it.
And y'all lost again?
Stop it.
One more time.
Stop it.
Appreciate you, Donald. Oh, man. All right. So, G, let's get into it with this NBA, bruh. The Washington Wizards are 3-12 right now. 3-12. Now I'm not gonna lie. I thought they was gonna win 40 games. I thought they were gonna do it. You know, man. I guess when you wrong, you wrong. Should go ahead?
Well, as far as the Wizards, like they weren't good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if John Wall were healthy last year, they weren't good. They had a lot of young players, a lot of young, inexperienced players, and they're just still not good. I mean, even with Beal and Westbrook, they just aren't good.
But all right, so they're not good, but I don't know if we can say they're not good because of just because of the fact that they didn't. I mean, they hadn't played together, man. Like they've been hurt. Westbrook was out for a few games. Then with the COVID situation, like they hadn't played together. Like they was forced to play some games where, I mean, I don't know. Like it's been like Harvey Grant had to come back from retire and play. Like they just hadn't been good, bro. Like, but it's because they hadn't been healthy. And I wonder. And like you said, they won 30-some games last year. And they was trying to get in the playoffs. This team is better than that on paper. So I don't understand why they're not. All right, man, we get to that later, man. I just don't see it. I know people want to blame it on Russ and whatever, man. But we're going to transition to the Western Conference. And we do have our guest that called in. And this man is a journalist reporter for Nightcast Media and has a podcast, TMA with Nick Hamilton, on Sirius XM Slam Radio Channel 145 every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. None other than Mr. Lakers, Clippers. I'm sorry, he covers the Lakers, the Clippers, the Padres, the Chargers, the LA Hopscotch team. He covers all. My guy, Nick Hamilton. What up, Nick?
What's going on, man? No, I do not cover the Padres, thank God.
Oh, you don't? He covers.
No, I cover the.
Hey,
I cover the Dodgers and the Angels at least. At least I
Dodgers
cover a world champion.
Okay, my bad. Dodgers and Angels, but he basically he covers everything in California, basically. But Nick, how's it going, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you guys?
We're good, bro. We are good. So we brought you on here, man. You cover the Clippers, the Lakers. We got to start off with the Clippers. What is the difference between last year's Clippers team and this year's Clippers team?
I think thus far, first of all, no bubble. I think that's one thing that they're able to sleep in their own beds at night when they're at home. But I think it's just a different voice, and I've said that even last season that I thought it was time that a new voice needed to be in that locker room. Sometimes a voice can be in there so long that it's just you take it for granted. Much like how we saw here in Los Angeles for years with Mike Scioscia being with the Los Angeles Angels. Even though he's an incredible baseball mind, and he taught the guys a lot about the game of baseball, his voice went hollow after a certain point, and guys started to tune him out. And I think it was time for a change. The same way I say about Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers is a really good basketball mind, but sometimes you need a fresh voice. Guys get tired. Sometimes there needs to be a change. And I think Ty Lue came in with the intentions of trying to find out what everybody's strengths are, where he can match them as much as they can match what he wants to implement as far as the system is concerned. And then also too, you have two healthy stars in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George came into camp healthy, as opposed to the previous season where guys were having surgery, guys were in and out because they were trying to get healthy. So I think that's been a major change. And also Nick Batum. I think Nick Batum and Serge Ibaka have been two incredible additions to this squad. Along with, again, you got Pat Beverly, you have Lou Williams. And so guys are starting to gel, and I think guys are playing much happier because they do have a Ty Lue that's willing to listen to them, and the guys feel like they're being listened to, and then they're executing as well. And they're taking it one game at a time. They're not, focused on what happened last season, how they fell short. They're focused on, okay, this is a new season. We're going to take it one game at a time. and we're going to move forward. And the ball movement has been much better. If you look, guys are playing more like a unit. Even though we know the superstar is Kawhi Leonard, we know the star is Paul George, who's been playing really well. And I know it goes under the radar, but in my estimation, I think Paul George has really been playing some MVP-type ball as of late, as well as Kawhi Leonard. So as we saw on Friday night, that the poster dunks, and we were finding out who had the better poster dunk. Was it Paul George or was it Kawhi Leonard? And, Paul George said, you know what, it's probably a tie. We both had good poster dunks. And when you have guys that like that are having fun playing ball, that makes it much better. And on top of that, they're actually winning, and they're number one in the West as we currently sit right now.
And you kind of answered the question. My next question was, do you feel that they respond better with Tyronn Lue compared to Doc? And like you said, they do need a different, a voice sometimes, a change of voices, different voices, good. What else is it about Ty Lue, since you've been covering them this year, that's made this difference in this Clippers team?
I think that just ability to really pay attention to detail. When they got blown out, as you know, by 51 against the Dallas Mavericks at one game. But they seem to have flushed that one down the toilet because they came right back and they played with the same type of intensity as they would any other game. They went on a long winning streak. And I think that was important. I think guys are really, buying into his system. As I mentioned earlier, because I talked with Terrence Mann, and I pretty much asked him from a psychological advantage, how much does it help just being in your own home arena and having the ability to be in your own home arena versus being cooped up in just one area. And he says, it played a major factor as far as just psychologically, feeling like, hey, we can come home, we can sleep in our own beds, we can eat our own home-cooked food, and we how we prepare. And I think that weighed a lot on guys. I think people kind of underestimate how much guys were under that pressure mentally, as we found out last season with Paul George, how he was going through it, just being cooped up. I mean, I can relate and we all can relate for that matter, because with us going through certain quarantine measures where we're supposed to, be at home at times and not having the ability to go places that we want to go to or go to restaurants that we want to go to simply because of, COVID-19. I could totally understand that. So I think the fact that they have the ability to move around, and then Ty Lue is really just listen to the guys. And I think that's what a lot of guys want to do. They just want somebody that will listen to them, that will take their advisement under consideration and implement that along with the program that Ty Lue wanted to bring into effect as well. So, again, I really think this is really a collaborative team effort between the players and the coaching staff.
All right, and I definitely agree with that, man. I felt like when Ty came, I thought he was going to make a big, big change. But speaking of coaches, do you think Frank Vogel deserves more credit than he's getting?
Oh, absolutely. I think he wasn't very high on my coaching list when it came to the hiring of a new coach last season. But Frank Vogel is a good basketball coach. I mean, you saw what he did in Indiana, the time he spent in Orlando, as far as developing that. So it was just a matter of time before he got a job where that really challenged him to really see, okay, let's see if you really are a good head coach. Let's see, even though you have LeBron James and you have Anthony Davis, but really this is Anthony Davis's first season at that time. And then you also had a cast of characters between Dwight Howard, you had Rajon Rondo, you obviously, Kyle Kuzma, who's been there, and so many others. Let's see if you can really coach. Let's see. They picked the coaching staff for him, so all he had to do was sit there and then gel with that coaching staff of Jason Kidd and Lionel Hollins and Phil Handy and those guys. So it was a huge challenge for him, and I think he rose to the occasion. And then had to go through a COVID, had to go through a shutdown, then had to restart and shift all the resources to one area, and then have guys confined to that area and be able to still motivate guys and get guys focused and ready along with LeBron James. That's a tall task. And then to go ahead and win an NBA title, That's a tall task. And guys are able to really respect him. And you can see that even this season, guys are really listening to what he has to say. Guys are believing in his system. And I know the Lakers have gone on their first 2-game losing streak of the season. But at the same time, you got to remember this too. Every team is going to gun for you because the bullseye on your back has gotten larger and larger because you are the world champion, and people want to get a strike on knocking you off the cliff. So games are going to be a lot harder than they normally would. Last season, they would have probably beat the Sixers and the Detroit Pistons easily. But because you are playing on a back-to-back, you're playing on the road, teams get up for you. They probably wouldn't get up for as much for maybe the Denver Nuggets or the Houston Rockets. That's no disrespect to them, but they're not the world champions. Everybody gets up and turn their level of game up a notch when it comes to the world champions. And the Lakers are finding that out right now. So I think they will continue to adjust. I think that defensively they're going to have to figure out and be more consistent defensively. I think they're doing great defensively, but I think it has to be a lot more consistent. I know they've gone through a great stretch. But I believe they had the number one defense in the league. And that's astonishing. But I think, Frank Vogel's going to go through, ups and downs, smiles and frowns when it comes to the NBA. And he's adjusting on the fly. And I think the guys are falling in line as well. So I think Frank Vogel does, to answer your question, I think Frank Vogel does need to get more credit than he's getting because this is not an easy task. And this is not an easy franchise to coach because the level of expectation is very high each and every season.
Right. And then who has been the most impactful acquisition for the Lakers this season?
I'd say Dennis Schroeder. I think Dennis Schroeder is really good. I mean, I think they have a lot of guys. I think Dennis Schroeder is one. I like Montrezl Harrell, at least for the regular season. We'll see how he performs in the postseason. But I think Montrezl Harrell has been a really good addition in the regular season. I think this, like I told people this in the beginning of the season, give the Lakers about 15 to 20 games to really find themselves and really gel because you have new pieces with Wes Matthews, Marc Gasol, Dennis Schroeder, and Trez. So it's going to take time for and then the regular guys like AD and Kuz and LeBron and guys like that, they have to find time to gel. So you're going to have some ups and downs, but at the same time, I think the most impactful guy is Dennis Schroeder, in my estimation. I think Dennis Schroeder is really finding his identity. He's been, a huge help, and I think it's only going to get better as he continues to progress. But obviously, you can't say impactful without mentioning LeBron James.
Right, yeah. You're definitely right. All right, man. Last question is pretty much easy. Well, I guess it's not, honestly, looking at these two teams. Who do you feel is a better team right now so far?
That's tough because it's the regular season. You expect good things out of the Lakers as well as the Clippers. So I don't really pay attention to this or give a lot of credence to the standings right now because it's still early in the season. We're just past, 25% of the season. So we still have a whole, 3/4 of the season to play. So there's a lot of basketball left, especially in the first half of the season. I think it's going to come down to the Lakers and the Clippers, obviously, in the Western Conference. But the key is going to be who's going to step up in the playoffs. You expect the Lakers to probably end up getting the 1 seed. You expect the Clippers to end up getting the 2 seed. And then there's everybody else. So that remains to be seen. But I think the real test is going to be postseason. Who's going to be? Is this the year the Clippers finally make it to the Western Conference Finals? Will they finally face the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals that we all been anticipating for the last couple of years? Mm-hmm. That's going to be the key to see how well Ty Lue and how different Ty Lue is from Doc Rivers. For the Lakers, I think it's just health. I think if they can remain healthy, obviously physically, we know about Anthony Davis who sustained a couple of, injuries. He sat out against the game in Detroit with the right bruised quad, so we could keep an eye out on that. But it's going to have to be is going to have to definitely be just health for the Lakers. Avoiding COVID as well as physical injuries. And if they can maintain that, I think they're going to be very dominant once again in the playoffs.
All right. There you have it. My guy, Nick Hamilton, journalist, reporter for Nightcast Media, and has a podcast, a host of a podcast, TMA with Nick Hamilton, on Sirius XM Slam Radio, channel 145, every Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. All right. Follow him at Nick Hamilton LA. Radio listeners, follow him at Nick Hamilton LA. You won't regret it. Hey, man, appreciate it again, bro. Love to have you back, man, and thanks for coming on.
Hey, man, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it, man. Congratulations on you all's success. And also, you can check me out every Thursday with myself and Jackie Ray on Dash Radio, Dash Talk X for the opposite reaction at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. Appreciate y'all.
All right,
Thank
no
you.
problem. No problem. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
What's going on, guys? It's John Collins from the Atlanta Hawks. You're listening to the 3 Point Conversion Radio.
All right, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Before we get into the big debate, G, man, I wish we had D for this debate. But Houston Rockets, they're looking good right now. And those trades are like probably the greatest things that happened at Houston in the last, since the championship years. Man, do you think I think they're making the playoffs. The way they're playing. It's funny because you have a lot of players that's been rejuvenated, but a lot of players that have a lot to prove. Christian Wood, of course, John Wall. Oladipo and Boogie is playing. And they have a lot. And then you have the other players, whereas with your Eric Gordon, they want to prove, hey, okay, the past teammates they left, but we're a good team. And Eric Gordon said, he said, we're a better team because of that.
I agree that they have a lot to prove, just to themselves individually, with Wall and Boogie and Oladipo coming off of major injuries. Wood trying to show he's worth that contract he just got, and Eric Gordon wanting to show that he's more than what his role has been the past few years. PJ Tucker's trying to show his value. You know, he's not a guy that okay, look, I'm not a guy that you just feel like you can put at center and then you go stand me in the corner, you know. So everyone has a lot to prove, and to relieve themselves of clearly the burden that was James Harden. I think they just feel like they're going to play free. The only drawback is that they're playing in a different system.
Right.
With Steven Silas. So they're trying to come around on that, but it's as if, but right now, it seems like it's fun to play basketball.
Yeah.
With everything going on in the world and what's happening internally, it's fun to play basketball.
Yep, and that's what it is. Speaking of fun, man, usually with the NBA and chat room, I want y'all to get into it, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or whoever. Remember, it was times where top 5 was clear. 5 years ago, about 6 years ago, LeBron, Steph, who else? Giannis wasn't there yet, but it was.
You're talking about 5 years ago?
Yeah, KD.
Yeah, it's LeBron, Steph, KD.
And at that time, I think that's when Russ was playing at his best.
And James Harden.
Like it was. That was it. Even a few years back, it was like that. Now, G, you have so many players. I ain't even gonna name them all. Well, I ain't gonna name them all because I want you to tell me your top 5, and I want to see if it's different from my top 5. Like I said, everybody listening, y'all can play along or put y'all top 5 in. But what is your top 5?
Well, I mean, I still got LeBron. I think he's the best player in the world until further notice.
And you ain't got to go in order.
Well, yeah, there's no particular order. I got LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and I would say right now, Joel Embiid.
So you said, oh, okay. So you said Giannis,
LeBron,
Giannis,
Steph, Giannis, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid.
All right. And okay, are you going by because they're playing like as of this season, or this season, right?
You're talking about top 5,
period.
The top 5 players right now.
Right now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So my top 5 is no order. LeBron. I got LeBron. I have KD. I have Doncic. I have Doncic in my top 5. So LeBron, KD, Doncic. I gotta put KD in there. KD. It's a toss up between right now who's playing the best. I'm going to put Kawhi over AD. This is why. Okay, so look, it's something because I could put a lot of people. I miss Giannis. I miss Steph. I miss AD.
Lillard.
Paul
George.
I'm gonna take that back. Let me change it. Can I change it? I'm sorry. I just thought of somebody. So LeBron. I'm gonna go LeBron, and I'm gonna go Doncic. I'm gonna go my guy in, not Nurkic, but
Jokic.
3 Jokic. So LeBron, Jokic, Doncic,
KD, and Kawhi.
KD and Kawhi. So who would I take out? I forgot who I took out.
All right, so you had LeBron.
I had LeBron, KD.
Luka. Jokic. Did you have Giannis?
No, I didn't. I know I didn't have Giannis. I got Kawhi. I had
Kawhi.
So I can't remember who I forgot who I took out. But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I don't have Steph though. Steph is a beast, but I've always said this, and I had this discussion with Nick. Y'all let me know if I'm telling the truth. The thing with Steph is the fact that Steph, as great as he is, if Steph has a bad game, if he has a bad shooting game, I'm not gonna say bad game. A bad shooting game. G, you tell me, how does he affect the rest of the game? And I'm not talking about the fact that because he having a bad shooting game, then Warriors don't win. No. How else can he affect the game in a positive way? Or how else does he affect the game in a positive way if he's not shooting well? He doesn't.
He can still make plays for others, but the way the offense operates, he doesn't have the ball in his hands like that all the time. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. There are limits to what you will actually. I don't say there's limits to what he can do, but I think there will be limits to what you actually see, as far as what you would expect from him in comparison to other point guards. Because it's a game where you're going to see more commonly one guy with the ball in his hands every time.
Right.
While Steph plays in an offense where the ball is moving, he is playing off the ball.
Right.
So so with anybody who primarily plays off the ball, there are going to be limits to what they can do.
But still, that's why I can't put him there. AD. My thing with AD is the most talented NBA player right now. He's the most talented player in the NBA by far, I think. But AD, you 6'10", 6'11", your frame is like you 7 feet. I stood and looked at this dude and he's 7'2". But you can't average 8 rebounds a game, bruh. You have to. Marcus only averaged like 2 rebounds a game. I know LeBron's getting 7, but still, why is LeBron? You should be averaging more than 10 rebounds easily a game.
Well, that's not the. I think right now that's not the focus. That's not his focus as far as rebounding, as far as crashing the boards. I mean, you're not going to see a lot of players average 12 rebounds a game like that. Looking right now, there are 13 players that average double-figure rebounds in the league. And only 5 average more than 12. 3 average more than 14. So it's not really, and it goes back to kind of the small ball era that, as far as with Miami, when LeBron was in Miami, they didn't really focus on rebounding. It was more about getting stops and then getting out on the break. Mm-hmm. And so the rebounds ended up being more spread out than someone getting all the rebounds and starting the break every single time.
And then, too, you get hurt 1.9 times a game. That takes it out. So I'm sorry. But the rest, but honestly, though, I think you can interchange from your top 3 on. I mean, you got your top 3, then the 4 and 5. I think you interchange that with 5 other players. You know what I'm saying? So it's no wrong answer. Derek Brent, shout out to Derek. He said LeBron, KD, Steph, AD, Giannis. I don't put Giannis in there. Giannis is the beast, but Giannis, you have to have a go-to move. You only have one move, and then when it comes to the playoffs, you get stopped.
Well, he's a regular season player right now.
Yeah,
and we're talking about right now, we're in the regular season. So we're going to talk about the regular season.
Right.
It's not really fair to, I mean, the way you ask the question, it's not fair to include the playoffs when we're not there yet.
Okay, but
I mean, you can have that conversation when the playoffs come, but we're talking about in the regular season, he's a guy still averaging 28 and 12.
So let me say this. Yeah, and they talk about the assists. He gets 6-7 assists, right, a game, but his assists are not because, oh, that dude can pass. No, assists is he just draws everybody, you know. That's his game, and I'm not hating on that, but I'm just saying.
Still making the right decision with the ball.
Right, but I'm not going to hate the fact that he's drawing everybody. That's good, but I'm just saying it's not like, oh, his vision. Like, Luka's vision is crazy. Luka can shoot, score. Luka can score anyway.
Well, Luka is the point guard.
Right, so. But LeBron could do all that, which makes him that great, right? LeBron can do all of that. I just don't think he has that one dominant move. He's coming 500 miles per hour, and he's going to dunk on you.
But there's still room to grow offensively.
Right. If he decides to, because he's starting to be like at one point, remember, we were saying about LeBron. I was saying about LeBron, bro, when are you going to grow your game? And he has. LeBron has. I knew it was going to come later on in his career, and it has. So I'm just saying. But all right, man. We're going to Harden. Vince said Harden. Yeah, Harden that's close. Like, that's why I said I could go back and forth, man. But I when I say definitely my top 5, to me, it's definitely LeBron and Dirk. I mean, Dirk. I keep calling him Dirk. LeBron, Luka. See, he said Harden. That just messed me up. I don't know, man. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to get a headache. We'll be right back.
Have a sports injury? Need to see an orthopedic doctor? Ortho Atlanta is one of Metro Atlanta's largest orthopedic and sports medicine practices, providing orthopedic and sports medicine care for the whole family. With 37 physicians and 14 offices, the practice provides the highest level of care for injury of muscles, joints, bones, and spine. Ortho Atlanta offers convenient access to a full range of musculoskeletal surgeons and specialists. Ortho Atlanta also offers on-site physical therapy, pain management care, MRI imaging, and workers' compensation care. The Ortho Atlanta surgery centers in Austell and Fayetteville provide cost-effective, same-day surgical procedures in an accredited outpatient center. Hip, knee, shoulder, back pain? Ortho Atlanta has you covered with specialists in all areas. Same-day appointments, orthopedic care for the whole family. Ortho Atlanta, Atlanta's choice for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Learn more at www.orthoatlanta.com.
Yo, this is Champ Bailey, 2019 Pro Football Hall of Famer. I just want to give a shout out to my boys at 3 Point Conversion Radio. There it is.
All right, we are back inside the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And ladies and gentlemen, we have family in the building. We have none other than Dr. Donnie Fowler III, orthopedic for Ortho Atlanta. What's going on, Doc? How's it going?
Doing well. How you guys?
I'm well, man. We're doing good. So, Doc, got to ask you, straight up, Super Bowl next week. You're a doctor. You've covered some games, you know, high school. You've done some college football. If you were in a position right now where you were the physician of an NFL team, whether it's Tampa Bay or Kansas City or any other team, just in general, at this point, you have somebody like Antonio Brown who was hurt. He hadn't practiced yet. You got other players that's been in the past, has been at this point where they can't practice. They wouldn't play, even in the playoff game. As we saw, Antonio Brown, AB didn't play. But Super Bowl, they're like, I got to get in and play. I want to play. This might be my only chance. We know how hard it is to get back to the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl if you can. I want to play. Do you become more lenient with the players and say, you know what, this might, it's a 30% chance that you can, you know, prolong your injury. But a Super Bowl, all right, go ahead. Would you get like that if you were put in that position?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a a tough situation because, like you said, as much as players want to make the money and everything else, so a lot of them measure themselves on championships and at least being there and getting to have that experience. So I think the ones that can go, you know, obviously ACLs, Achilles, et cetera, you know you're out. You're not getting out there. But the ones kind of sprain, lingering, where normally you'd probably be sitting out a regular season game, I think there is probably, to be honest, a little more leniency with kind of the player. And certainly it's still going to be up to the player, but to try to get out there, I think the medical staff has to certainly be up front the player and obviously the coaches and the agent. There's unfortunately many cooks in the kitchen, if you want to put it that way, that goes into determining when the player is out there and when they're not. So in those cases, I think you give them the opportunity, but then certainly I think there's a tight leash as well to see if they're not moving right, or you see them grimacing or something. Then you kind of have to do what's best and pull them, and at least you know what, they had a chance. They were out there. So I think that's kind of more the way you're going to see it. And kind of jumping forward, I still expect to see Antonio Brown out there, even though he hasn't been practiced yet this week. So.
Now, transitioning to the NBA, Donovan Mitchell missed his second game last night because of a concussion protocol. He's in a concussion protocol, right? Dealing with that. Is this the same protocol that the NFL goes through, meaning as the NFL, you're not banging heads or, pads and all of that? Is it a different protocol than the NFL?
I mean, it's this. I would say it's a similar protocol in the sense. Well, one, it's certainly rarer, obviously, to be talking about concussions in basketball than football, given the nature of the sport. But they do have a similar protocol where all those athletes are subjected to basically neurocognitive testing before the season, so that they establish a baseline. And then they essentially have to after a concussion or deemed a possible concussion. First, they have to retest and kind of hit the same score and benchmarks to prove that they're quote unquote at baseline. And then there's actually the physical ramp up where they have to be able to kind of first jog without symptoms, and then kind of do drills without symptoms, and then practice without symptoms, and still kind of gradually get up to the point of gameplay. So it's similar, but
yeah, I always wondered that, man. I definitely did, because it's like you said, it's a different type of game. And then last but not least, Devin Booker, he's out with a left hamstring strain. He's been out a couple of games. What's the status on that? Like, when do you see him coming back, and what does it take for him to come back and play?
Yeah, and again, similar, we've seen a lot of hamstrings on the football side. I mean, basketball is a little different as far as movement and what you're doing. It doesn't sound necessarily like a serious injury, but, I mean, Booker's, of course, kind of the cornerstone for that franchise, so they're going to be smart. They're certainly going to want to try to make sure he's as close to 100% as possible, so this isn't something that lingers. I would expect him back probably in the next week or so, if I had to guess. So,
all right, there you have it. Dr. Donald Fowler III, Mr. Orthopedic himself. Got my whole family now. How's Dr. Fowler? I'm like, oh, Donnie's fine. You shouldn't call him that. He's doctor. It's Dr. Fowler. I'm like, come on, man, we cool. No, it's Dr. Fowler. Jesus, this man overtook my family. So, but hey, I appreciate you, Doc, for coming on.
All right. Hey, stay healthy.
Yes, sir. I will. All right, man. So, look, G, you know how I do. YouTube, this is What's on My Mind. This segment, What's on My Mind. This is where we like to talk about, just things on my mind. I always say, I'm not going to say that no more, because you just never know. You might offend somebody, how it is these days. So I ain't going to say what I usually say about venting. So, but yeah. But anyway, so this is What's on My Mind. So everybody, when you were a child, or at least I'll say when I was a child, what's the most important thing a kid can have, especially a kid that's in sports, G? I wonder if you could take a stab at it, but the most important thing if you're in sports to have as a little kid, can you think of, just try to take a stab at what?
The ball? A ball?
What
like,
ball?
I mean, depends. Like, if you play football, a football. Play basketball, a basketball.
So I'm glad you said that. The most important ball to have, as you said, when you're a child, is a tennis ball. How many things have you done with a tennis ball, G? As far as like playing sports in the hood? I don't know. I know where I come from. I mean, we didn't have any tennis courts, but you try to play tennis with a tennis ball. Okay, whatever. Baseball. That was our baseball. Having a tennis ball. You ever heard a game called Off the Wall? Where you throw it off the wall? That was a tennis ball. We played that with a tennis ball. We used to play tag or dodgeball sometimes because we in the hood. We ain't had no play with a tennis ball.
And you know, I feel like no one ever like whoever had it didn't like buy it, or your parents didn't buy it for you. You found it somewhere.
Right. I can't remember my parents buying me a tennis ball. Like, why would they buy me some tennis balls? But you found it somewhere. That's what I'm saying. You lose them. And then what do your boy, hey man, I got a tennis ball. Oh, cool. That was the most important thing in a child's life, or at least in the 80s. Can y'all agree, man? Do y'all agree listening? That was one of the most important things a child could have. I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post a picture of on social media. Say, I thought about that the other day, man. I was thinking about my childhood playing baseball. I ain't have a baseball, so do the tennis ball. You know what I'm saying? See who could throw the tennis ball the farthest, throw it up in the air. I don't know, man. You just had it.
I played baseball with a tennis ball, but some kids I played with, like somebody would always hit the ball so far and it would go into the street and then it'll roll into a sewer. Like, man, now we can't play anymore. No one else has a tennis ball.
That's what I'm saying.
So we gotta wait till somebody else found another one.
and what made me think about it, I don't know. Look, I guess my daughter found one. I don't know. I just saw it on the porch somewhere this week. I'm like, is that a tennis ball? No, it was downstairs. And I'm like, yo, that's a tennis ball. I didn't buy a tennis ball. But see what I'm saying?
Like, it's always found. And you don't know where it's been. It could have been a dog toy. It could have been, I don't know, it could have come from anywhere. Or maybe it rolled back from under the sewer.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna call my and shout out to my YouTube listeners, man. Nathaniel Oliver, God of Blackness, Revolution Radio. What up, baby? Even UYP Studio. Appreciate it. New media. That's right. UYP, man. What you know about the tennis balls? Y'all let me know. Facebook, let me know, man. What y'all know about the tennis balls, man? Horace in the building. On Facebook. But yeah, G, I'm just saying that's what it was. That's how it was when we were younger, man. You always, like you said, you always had one. We used to have them stashed too, because we found them, we'll find them, we'll have them stashed. We'll lose one. Oh, I got one. The dog, somebody's dog and probably chewed up on it. Sometimes you get where it's like all scraggly, but when you find a good one where it's like it's brand new, oh yeah. They never went like inflated or deflated or whatever. Like it worked. It was just might be on the roof, on the gutter. They clean the gutters, then somebody.
Oh, you might find them anywhere.
URP said definitely use tennis balls, bro. So I told you, your mama used it to get out there and throw the tennis ball, hit you in the head. It was just useful, man. Hey man, let's bring the tennis balls back. All right, so you hear this music, you already know what it means. It means it is time to let you go. But before we let you go, man, we have a couple of shout-outs. And stay tuned because you might be a part of it. First of all, I want to thank the Almighty God for giving me this platform to do what I do, say what I say, make you all happy, upset, mad, want to give me the stop it button. God, I definitely appreciate you for this opportunity and this platform. Also, I want to shout out to my guests. First, Danny Thompson. We appreciate you for coming on, baby. Also, Nick Hamilton. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on, bruh. Hopefully to have you on again. Of course, family, Dr. Fowler III, Dr. Donnie Fowler III. We appreciate you. Thank our sponsors, Ortho Atlanta and Dwayne Chambers, Simha the Barber. Make sure y'all check him out on Instagram at Simha the Barber, just like how I said it, at Simha, SIMHATHEBARBER. Also, want to shout out to The Intellectual, man. Hey, man, we got your back, man. Let us know what you need, bruh. Let us know, but you talking about like, hey, can you buy me some shit? I can't do that. But I'm just saying, you supposed to say that. But no, shout out shout out to Unc, though, Uncle Chuck, man. Hey, condolences to the family. The show was dedicated to you. Thank G. G, appreciate you for coming on. You got anything to say, you want to say?
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Condolences to The Intellectual and his family. And that's it.
All right, and I want to thank, like I said, UIP, Revolution Radio, God of Blackness, Nathaniel Oliver. Also want to thank Vince, Horace. What up, Horace? H.O., when you coming on the show, man? You good now? I got to have you on the show, bruh. Derek Branch, Vincent, Shin, TJ Bentley, everybody else, man. L.A. Broadest. If I miss you, I apologize. Linda. Also want to thank my family, lovely family, beautiful wife, lovely children, brothers, sisters, nephews, cousins, uncles, aunties, grandparents, my in-laws, play cousins. Hey, love on family. Let family know that you love them while they're still alive. Make sure they can feel the love. Eat good this weekend. Be safe. Be healthy. Watch sports. Until then, next week, same time, same show, same crazy host, same sports nonsense. Will you miss me? I'm out. Peace. You just got done listening to the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts at the 3-Point Conversion. And also make sure you check out our website, the3pointconversion.com. Be sure to follow us live and listen every Saturday morning at 10 a.m.